Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast. Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Hema Lakkaraju. Hema Lakkaraju is an advocate and implementer of the data-driven compliance models for the health and life science industry. She has been in health and life sciences industry for over 12 years, helping organizations with data, risk, and product compliance. She has been working with different teams on data-driven risk and compliance strategy framework. She recently founded a company with a vision to help guide the innovative health and life science industries on data-driven compliance and risk management. Well, good afternoon, Hema. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian, for calling me in.
You bet. Hema, let's jump into some of the questions. You've got a great, strong background in technology and compliance, and now you're in the entrepreneur space. Can you share something with our audience, the secret to your drive and success?
Sure. I think it's very important in your career that you are adaptable and thinking outside the box. I started my career as a validation verification engineer or as a test engineer, slowly graduating from an engineering role to a much more compliance role. And the overall vision is to how to create a safe and secure product for the patient. It has slowly transformed into just not an operational compliance role, but again, giving the fact, thinking outside the box, how is the market going through, which was very evident that it's been going through a heavy digital transformation. And we are no longer in this silo industries of just medical device or just health and so on. So every aspect of it have been emerging and involving with each other. And slowly the health and life sciences industry have been transformed into a hybrid kind of industry where you bring in IoT, health, pharma, life sciences, software aspect of it, firmware aspect of it all into place. So it becomes very important when you're in this phase of digital transformation and overall industrial transformation that you also look at compliance from a different perspective. So through the years, I have been trying to advocate looking beyond, not only as just a compliance operational role, but as a compliance thought leader, which is not traditionally being followed in a compliance. So I think overall, the journey have been mainly adapting, understanding how the market is going, adapting to the new technologies, thinking outside the box, and just not as an operational role person, but also as a thought leader and a visionary and how we can contribute better to the patient safety.
Hema, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. And you're right, there is a lot that has changed in all the industries, but life sciences, healthcare, and compliance is so important in this day and age. So everybody globally has had to make major shifts to adapt to this new normal during the pandemic. Could you share with us what you're doing to adjust and stay relevant in this economy?
Sure. I think it gives a bigger lesson for all of us that nothing is permanent and nothing is what we take for granted is permanent either. I think the bigger challenge during pandemic for me is as an entrepreneur, which phase I am now in, trying to balance the work, which I'm doing work from home, and along being a mother, taking care of two kids who are also working from home through online schools. So I can echo with a lot of working moms out there who are trying to balance it out and trying to juggle meeting the needs of both school kids and meeting their needs at work. Let's take it from an work-life balance perspective to a much more mental health perspective, which is a bigger concern now. It is now more than ever, especially for parents, especially for elders, and overall for all the citizens out there and the kids to be mentally strong, to support each other as a family member, and to stay healthy. The reason why it is we have been habituated of having this culture and going freely forward, having a lot of play dates and meeting with other people and having meetings and hanging around. Now it's no longer evenly possible. Considering the fact of that, but also thinking that what we are doing is for the safety of us and for the future and the safety of other people, it becomes extremely important that we take this as a precautionary measure, but also be mentally strong as a person so that we can support each other as a community.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the fact that you're, again, juggling that role as an entrepreneur and a mother at the same time, which is a job that's 24/7 and a lot of times thankless. So thank you for sharing that. So, Hema, how do you think the pandemic will shift the healthcare and our engagement of patients?
If we look back past 2 to 3 years or 3 to 4 years of time, we have seen a lot of digital transformation occurring in the health industry. And the pandemic have pushed us all out of our comfort zone in terms of adapting the technology, adapting the digital technology to be particular in our day-to-day, whether it could be appointments, whether it could be diagnostics for the health and so on. It have pushed overall from a customer point of view, but also it pushed a lot for industries to think outside the box, to think how well and better we can innovate and connect all these health different IoT devices together so that we can create a amazing ecosystem of smart healthcare, not just digital healthcare, but a smart healthcare. And you see a lot of strategical partnerships that we have never seen before, a lot of mergers and acquisitions in the past 3 to 4 years that we have never seen before, a lot of market push towards the health data analytics that we have not seen before. This also tells us that the leadership roles in the innovative health industry are thinking outside the box and thinking about a bigger vision, saying that how we can combine our technologies, our services, our expertise to create a better ecosystem for the patients. And I don't think we will be challenged in terms of technology, but we will be challenged in terms of creating a smarter ecosystem and connecting all these multiple digital health software, IoT devices together to create a data system and a centralized system where we can have all the patient data at one place. I think that is something that needs a lot of work as of now.
I'm going to get into kind of the technologies. Are there any new or emerging technologies that you're leveraging today within your company? Anything you care to share that might be insightful for our audience?
Sure. I think as an entrepreneur, I think there are a lot of devices, especially around looking as a centralized system. If I'm a compliance related company, a startup, I see a lot of technology and platforms where they are bringing in all the global regulations and standards into one place, and they are comparing it, telling us what are the commonalities, what are the risks, what are the approaches between those standards. That gives a very clear view in terms of how well we can design. I can also change my hat from a subject matter expertise into a marketing or a sales team rep and say that we have amazing softwares and platforms like Canva, Outreach, where people can use. They are no longer getting hold of during this pandemic in terms of how well they can reach the audience or prospects, but also a very good way to tell the story about your product. I think those are the things that I have seen.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And Hema, this is the big question. Our audience really wants to learn more about you. Can you share something from your career experience that would be helpful for those people trying to grow their career in compliance or entrepreneurship?
I think overall, as we emerge in terms of a mindset, we also emerge in terms of compliance role. The compliance industry is no longer checking the box and no longer an industry where it's purely operational role, just blindly following the regulation, but it's transforming in a huge level to a strategical thought leadership role. And why? Because of the emerging industry and integrated expertise that we are seeing in health industry, where its health industry is now digitalized. You have combination products of pharma and medical together. You have IoT software, firmware, all bringing together, creating an amazing health products. And it is also very important for people who are looking in the compliance career to have an holistic knowledge, not just FDA, but have a knowledge of what cybersecurity exactly is in terms of cybersecurity controls, what in terms of privacy are we talking about, so that you are a great contributor and also thought leader as part of your whole team, not just an operational role. And it's now time more than ever that we as compliance leaders have to change our portrait, where we have been said we are the bottleneck for the product innovation or reaching to the market, rather than as a team member, as a contributor, saying that we can also understand your product better. We can also smartly strategize and give you smart and lean ways so that we can launch the product faster, but also make it safe and secure and align with the regulation. I think that is a bigger missing piece, and that's what we have to heavily work on.
Thank you, Hema. I appreciate you sharing that. I know that this would resonate with my audience, but it certainly was very insightful today. So thank you for sharing. Hema, it was my pleasure having you on today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Thank you, Brian. It was a great pleasure talking with you. And thank you, audience, for your time listening.
Bye for now.